For today's class, we'll be focusing on our precious knees that we have two of them, but they are sensitive and fragile joints. We use them quite a bit, so I have gotten a few requests to do a knee class. This won't have the format of a flowy knee class. Instead, it'll have a little bit of flow just to get us moving in between exercises. But I tried to choose a few exercises that will relieve knee pain because most of the times, when we think about getting something stronger, we're thinking about getting things strong below or above the knee. We're thinking of releasing tension, but it's not really that we're going to go into the knee and actually maneuver it a lot. The knee itself doesn't have so much movement. It has two vectors of movement. So it does flexion, which is bending, and extension. And then it also does side to side rotation, but that's minimal. You do have your meniscus in between your knee joint. These are like the two little pillows that give some space to your knee, and they often get damaged with improper rotation. So we'll try to build a little bit of proprioception and do tons of release. So today's class does require tools. Sorry for this one. I can't. It's just the props can do such an tremendous efficient job. So you do need your myofascial release balls. You do need a Pilates ball and blocks. I always have them, and you can get by with a foam roller if you don't have these balls. So I'll often be showing variations of movements with different props, and I think that's it for today. So when you're ready, go ahead and lay on the floor. We're just gonna take a moment to breathe and tune into our knees. And if you do have, let's use either foam roller or bolster or something underneath your knees, because we are focusing on relieving our knees today. So go ahead, and sometimes having them above your knees on your thighs can feel nice. And bring your arms out to the side. Maybe take a moment to shake out your legs. Roll to your inner heel, roll to your outer heel. And just take a moment to feel the back side of your body. A simple visualization just to get in tune with what part of our bodies we're working today. So you don't have to understand or know all the anatomical terms, but you have a big bone that is your thigh bone, your femur. Your femur is the first half of your knee joint. And then at the bottom, you have your shin bones, which are two bones, your tibia and your fibula. And those take part in making the lower half of your knee joint. So just take a moment to breathe and feel into the space all the way from your hip creases down towards your kneecaps, and your kneecaps down towards your ankles. Bringing some attention, love, and awareness to what our knees need for today's class. Simple breathing exercise. No matter what part of the body we focus on, we bring some attention to how we're breathing. This is connected to core dynamics. So working a little bit in our core is also going to facilitate any pain or imbalance that we might have in other parts of our bodies. We are going to take a 3-part inhale. They're going to be small sips of breath. We're going to hold every 2 seconds, and each of those parts is going to focus on a different part of your abdomen. So let's say if you find your belly button, from your belly button to your pubic bone, this will be lower half of your belly. Side of your body is easy to understand. Think about the sides of your rib. and then belly button to end of sternum. This is the first half of your belly, let's say. So you'll hear me say something like, breathe to the bottom half of your belly, pause. Breathe to the sides of your belly, pause. Breathe to the upper half of your belly, pause. And we'll exhale for 5 to 6 seconds. And then we'll just do that 3 times. So when you're ready, just go ahead and exhale. Empty out all the air in your lungs. Inhale to the lower half of your belly, pause. Inhale to the sides of your rib cage, pause. Inhale to the upper half of your belly, pause. And exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Repeat. Inhale to the bottom half of your belly, pause. Inhale to the sides of your rib cage, pause. Inhale to the upper half of your belly, pause. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale bottom half, pause. Inhale sides of your body, pause. Inhale upper half of your body, pause. Exhale, let's try 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe normal. And notice if you feel that just as we take a normal breath, it naturally inflates those parts of our body that we were focusing on. Okay, when you are ready, go ahead and remove whatever is underneath your knees. So the first exercise that we're going to do will be a general rollout of our quads. Your quads start all the way from your hip creases down towards your kneecap. So tons of options to use. I am going to use 2 sets of myofascial release balls. If yours come in a little tote bag, you can just keep them there. You can equally do this on a foam roller. And if you only have 1 set of myofascial release balls, just do one side at a time. I'm just going to roll out both of my thighs at the same time because I know we're all about short classes, so I'll take less time. But if you're doing one side at a time, just pause the video while we move on to the next exercise. So go ahead and lay on your belly. Start at the top of your hip creases. So if you're not sure where your hip flexors live, you can come up to your knees, lower your hips halfway down, and you should feel kind of a stringy body part kind of sticking out from your hip groins, and you want to start from there. So I lay my balls, come a little bit further down because you know you're going to be traveling up, and lay down. We might do something just for the hip flexors later, but I'll explain it here because just bringing some weight to your hip flexors feels really nice. Maybe you just want to linger here for a little bit, moving a little bit from side to side. And then when you're ready, I stay up on my knees, start to crawl, salamander yourself up. And you'll probably start to get some sensation as you get closer to your belly muscle. So let's say I start to feel around there. You can see where I am. I'm starting to get halfway through my thigh. And then maybe there, I'll just bend one knee and the other. Oof, this can be intense. And rock a little bit from side to side. Getting into a little bit of physiology and what happens. I didn't start very far down, so I'm going to go back down so you can still see me. Often we overuse our thighs, our quad muscles. There's a lot of, exercise focus on strengthening your glutes and strengthening your thighs. And your quad, the main bulky quad muscle, the tendon, actually attaches to your kneecap. So if your quads are very tight, it's going to pull up on the kneecap, and it might be one of the reasons why you have knee pain. Again, you can bend your knees. You can do one at a time. and maybe rock a little bit from side to side. You do want to make sure, and you know, if you're brave, it feels okay, you can keep your knees bent so your quads are lengthened and roll a little bit like this. Make sure that you go all the way down towards the tip of your kneecaps. You don't have to roll over your kneecaps, but you do want to go to that area where you feel like it sinks. And maybe for good alignment, don't let your belly just fall, but keep your belly slightly engaged, so you're not crunching your lower spine. I'm just going to go up one more time towards where it felt a little bit tender for me. And then once again, if you want to windshield wipe your knees a little bit, right, left, right, left. Okay. If you need a little bit more time here, or if you need to do the other side, pause the video and meet me when you're ready. Maybe just come down to a seat with your knees bent, grab a hold onto your quads, nice and soft, and just jiggle them a little bit from side to side, just allowing everything. Part of the reason why things hurt also is because they just get really tight and there's no proper circulation. Okay, we're just gonna jump straight right into another myofascial release, because this one is really valuable for anything involving knee arthritis or overuse of the knee, which is the same thing: itis, inflammation, arthritis, inflammation of your joints. Set of myofascial release balls. I'll do one knee at a time. Place it right behind your knee, sandwich it in between the back of your thigh and your shin. And you don't have to directly sit back because it'll be tender. And just see how much weight you want to put as you sit back. And this is enough for me. Take a few nice breaths there. And then on the exhale, maybe move a little bit from side to side. So this is not only opening the knee from the front, but you get that dual effect of releasing the back of your hamstrings and the top of your calves. Maybe at some point you can come up a little bit higher, maybe looking forward, taking the pressure off by leaning down, by kind of stretching your chest forward. Okay. And let's go into the other side. I just want to offer options. If for some reason you're doing this class and you only have one ball, you can also do this with one ball. It'll just, everything is, similar effects, but different feelings. So I'm just doing the other side with one ball, but same thing, sitting back nice and slow, rocking a little bit from side to side. Nice breathing, inhale, maybe stretching your heart forward. Exhale. Take an inhale and exhale. Give yourself another 20 seconds here. Maybe you can come up a little bit higher. Okay. And both of these movements had us down on the ground. So let's go ahead and stand up for a moment, however you can get there. And just take a moment to feel, I'll face you, to feel how your feet meet the ground. Maybe I naturally like to keep a soft bend in my knees, feeling the anatomy of your standing torso. And let's start to shift forward and back a little bit. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. And feeling into the back of your heel and the mounds of your toes. And then from here, we'll do some dynamic chair poses, but not to the point that your knees hurt. So, if you do a proper chair pose and your knees hurt there, you're just going to come halfway up. So you don't have to go so far down. And then we'll do the swinging into a little bit of chair pose. So you'll shift your weight forward, and maybe you'll come up to your tippy toes, and you'll shift your weight back, and you'll sit on a chair pose. And then you'll shift your weight forward, come halfway up or all the way up your heels, and sit back, maybe lower your hips. And then one more time, coming forward and then coming back. So you'll notice that when we sit less, I'm just going to keep swinging forward, it's less about your knees and more about strengthening your ankles. Even if I just lift my heels a little bit, I can feel that kind of shakiness wanting to come. So really getting that ankle stability so that you can take the load off from your knees. We're swinging, so let's just swing that right leg back. Let's come to something traditional, like a triangle pose. So you can practice a little bit of this ankle strength rather than loading everything to your knee. So if you reach your arms out as if you were getting ready for a warrior, same thing. If you bend your knee a lot into a warrior two and your knee hurts, for today, let's just come halfway up. And as you come halfway up, instead of thinking of bringing all your body weight to your left knee, think about pressing that left heel down onto the floor. Like you're trying to get rid of that floor underneath you. And you're pressing the left heel so far down that eventually you'll straighten the left leg. So the power of straightening your left leg comes by pushing your left heel down and not by just jamming your left knee back. So let's do that a few times. Take an inhale. As you exhale, bend your left knee halfway and then really plug that left heel down to straighten your left leg. One more time. Inhale, bend. I can bend a little bit more, maybe, as long as I can safely straighten by pressing that left heel down. So plug that left heel down to straighten. Flip your left palm, take it forward. No need to lock out the knee, especially if you're hypermobile. Reverse your triangle. Great, and windmill your hands down. Okay, you're going to pick up your back heel. You're going to place the Pilates ball underneath your right knee. I think we did something similar in our proprioception class. If your two hands can meet the mat, great. Having a little bit of support because we will be here a little bit longer is nice. So you're really just going to plug that right heel down. If it gets a little bit, sorry, not the right heel, the right knee down. And if it gets a little bit wobbly, shaky, let that happen. You can either stay here or bring your arms up, but pulling your belly in. And you'll notice, sorry, this class is a lot of explanation of anatomy, but it's important for you to understand what you're feeling in your body so that you can change any patterns. As you pull yourself up, you're tucking your tailbone, engaging your core. You should already feel your quad pulling forward. So you're not just sitting in your hips. You're not sagging your belly out, but everything is engaged and you don't have to sit all the way down. You push that left heel down, you plug that right knee down, tuck your tailbone, engage your core. And from here, the movement is going to be small, arms up or arms relaxed. You're just going to try to pull the right knee forward and back. You're going to pull it forward, engage your core, especially your lower half, and back. You can equally do this with your hands on the floor. Pull forward and back. Notice how your hip groin is working forward and back. Your hands can stay on blocks for support. You're going to pull your left knee back. Make sure that your right knee is on the floor, and this is definitely in our proprioception class. You're just going to move your knee a little bit from side to side and front to back, just building a little bit of knee proprioception. I'm going to turn around so that you see what I'm doing next with the left knee. But as you keep your right knee on the ball with your toes tucked under, you're going to plug that right knee down and lift your left knee up. This is just shearing of your hip, but building strength. And yeah, it's okay if that right knee shakes. You can, if you feel comfortable, you can even make it shake on purpose. And down, this is making your meniscus more aware. Remember, you're not opening out to the side. you're pulling up. The proprioception class that I have in my YouTube channel is also really good for your knee. Great, and down. You're going to keep the Pilates ball. We're going to lay on our left side, just a teeny bit more. I'm going to use a block for a pillow. And you'll straighten the bottom leg. Keep your right knee supported on the ball. Continuing a little bit of shearing, and this is going to take us into a little bit of adductor work. You're going to slide the right knee forward and pull it back. Slide the right knee forward and pull it back. Slide. This is also minor roll out of the inner thigh and back and forward and back. Any of these exercises, you can pause and do them for longer. Before we get into adductor inner thigh work, let's work on our outer glutes as well. So bending both knees, doing a few steps. Let's just do 5 clamshells. Make sure that your knees are at a 90-degree angle. Keep your feet together. Inhale, you open. Practicing external rotation of the hip, which is going to open the inside of your knee, close the outside, and close. 4 more times. Inhale, exhale. 3 more times. Inhale for 3. Exhale for 3. Inhale for 2. Exhale for 2. Inhale for 1. Exhale for 1. Okay, inner thigh roll out. I think most of you have a foam roller, so I will show it with a foam roller. But on the other side, I will also show it with the yoga tune-up balls. But this is like hugging the foam roller. Okay, so pretty easy. Same thing as we were doing before with the slide. You have the foam roller starting right above your kneecap, and you're just going to foam forward and back. I can already feel it quite a bit. It's nice. At some point when you're rolling forward, the foam roller is only halfway in your thigh and you're not all the way. You can't move anymore. So maybe you start in the middle and then you roll towards your upper half. You don't really need a pillow because it's nice to also kind of get on, almost like you're turning onto your belly. And I like to do this because, I'm even like lifting my hips up so that you really get to the beginning of your pelvis, like really where those adductor tendons connect. And you can do everything down towards your knee again. There's also a few little techniques that are nice here. So just like with our quads that we straighten and bend, you do the same. So you find an area, maybe somewhere in the middle of your thigh, and you can straighten and bend. Obviously, if you want to add more weight to that area, then you press onto your arms and you lift your hips. Again, this is adding more weight. And then all the way down. So with the foam rolling, I like to say that, it takes a while to develop a relationship with all these props. But once you do, it's like whatever you're rolling is the focus. The rest of your body can move. Like maybe you start on the floor and you're like, okay, but don't be limited by this position. Feel free to explore and move, because when you move, you find other ways of reaching the targeted goal. Okay. And then this is taking us back to standing. So yes, dynamic class, standing, seating, standing, sitting. Separate leg forward fold. Grab your blocks, separate your feet. Hands can, again, focus is not like overstretching today, so I'm keeping my blocks on their highest setting. And maybe just take a forward fold for a moment. Notice how that right inner thigh feels. Okay, and we'll do a little bit of work on our hips. So taking the equation away from our knees from a moment, don't lock your knees back. Keep a little micro bend on your knees and maybe just move your hips a little bit from side to side. And this will take you into wider movement. So because we already worked on the right side, let's bend onto that right knee only to the point that there's no pain on that right knee. And similar to that triangle, instead of just straightening the leg and locking out the knee, see, like I'm doing this with no effort of my ankle, you're going to start to plug your right heel down onto the floor, push through that right heel, and then from your right ankle, power up to straighten out that right leg. Maybe do it one more time. Bend the right knee. Power up through that right heel and push, 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 push. And one more time. Bend and push. If doing half a malasana is comfortable for you today, start to bend your knees. Sorry, bring your heels in, toes out, bend your knees just halfway. And if you can safely maintain this position by plugging your heels down, take the weight off from your knees, bring your arms up. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, plug your heels down, stand up. Bring your toes in, arms out to the side. Nice breathing. My whole right leg already feels like way more lit up than the left side. So just notice what a little bit of work can do. Inhale through your nose and exhale. Let's go ahead and face the front of the room again. I want to do a warrior two and all that sequence facing you. So I'm going to face the back of my mat. So my right leg is forward. So same thing, shifting a little bit forward, back, forward, back. Let's take this time because we're actually standing to already work on a different part on our body. So knees, we often don't think about strengthening our shins. So everything below your knee is super important. And this is one of my favorite shin exercises. So you do need a little bit of wall space. Nothing too tricky. You're just gonna lean on the back wall. You will place your tush down and press yourself against the wall. Sometimes it's nice to just feel the back of your anatomy press against the wall. No need to tuck or untuck your tailbone, just neutral. But straighten out your legs without jamming your knees back. Just natural straightness. Before we do what we do, just know that the further away your feet are from the wall, the harder this is going to be. So maybe start, where you feel comfortable. Straighten out the legs, maybe slight bend on the knees. You're just going to plug your heels down, same heels that you're using to push the floor away, and lift your toes up or lift your whole foot up. We're going to do 10 of these. I'm at 2, 3. At 3, I feel like I can go a little bit further, so I'm going to walk my feet out. Inhale, working on the front of your shins. This is 5 for me. Looking forward, 6. If you do 10 and you don't feel your shins, I'm sliding down, so I'm going to come a little bit higher. Maybe do a few more. This is 8 for me, 9, and 10. Great. Go ahead and release that. We'll do a nice shin rollout after this. Okay, so coming to the front of your mat, meeting your mountain pose, and then when you're ready, just stepping that right foot back. Reaching your arms out to a T. Everything that you've learned already, plug that right heel down. Take an inhale, bend, maybe just halfway, just to the point that it feels like you're doing some work, but you're not straining the knee. Push that right heel down, straighten the right leg, engage your quad. Engage everything in front of your thigh, back of your heel. Bend your right knee, push that right heel down, and straighten. I'm just doing 3. Inhale, bend, and straighten. Obviously, you're doing this when there might be a little bit of knee discomfort, but this is, if you're recovering from an injury, this is like already 10 steps ahead. So don't do this if you feel like, it's still shaky and you need to grab on. So this class does require some, healthy, strong flexibility and strength already. Flip your right palm, take it forward, reverse your warrior or reverse your triangle. Great. Windmill your hands down. I'm going to face your side again. Pick up your back heel, grab the Pilates ball, place it underneath your left knee. I'm using blocks. Plug that left heel down. Choose to either stay close to the ground. The last one, I started up and then I went down. So let's do the opposite. You're going to plug that left heel down and then pull the left knee in towards you. As you're pulling in, you're also pushing down. Engage your core, tuck your tailbone, push that right heel down to the floor and release. Two more times. Push that left heel down and pull the left thigh in. Engage your core. I'm going to do a pelvic floor class soon, but this is super important for pelvic floor work as well. And release. If you feel comfortable, maybe last one, come up. Right from the beginning, pull yourself up. You're not sinking. You're not here. You're not stretching. You're engaging everything. Arms up or down. Pull your left knee forward, even if it's a little bit. Engage your left groin. Squeeze your inner thighs. Tuck your tailbone. Engage the lower half of your belly. Great. And release. Step your right knee back. Hands on blocks or on the floor. I'm going to choose the floor. Purposely move that left knee around. Do circles forward to the side. When you're ready, plug your left knee down and lift your right knee up. Not out to the side, but straight up. Make it wobbly if you feel comfortable on purpose, and down. 2 more times. Lift your right knee up. Work it from side to side. This is going to strengthen your meniscus, and down. Last one, pull in or pull up and down. Well done. You're going to lay on the right side of your body. You're going to place the Pilates ball underneath your left knee. And you're just going to roll forward and back. This should just feel good after a little bit of work. Just moving the lower back, especially if you added too much pressure on your lower back. Great. Bend both knees. A few seconds of just squeezing the ball in between your thighs. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 5. Clams. Feet together. Open up your left knee. 1. Feel the outer left glute working. This is external rotation. Close. You can't, our bodies are connected. This is 4. It's hard not to, do a little bit of hip stuff and a little bit of ankle stuff when we're working on our knees. 3, 2 more, 2. Feel whatever you're engaging. 1. I want to show you how to do the adductor release with blocks. So grab a set of your myofascial release balls. Remember that if you have lacrosse balls, you can use them. Lacrosse balls just end up being a little bit harder. So, you want to find something that is enough pressure, but not too much. Using a ball to support my head, snuggling 2 blocks underneath my thigh so I can hug the thighs in towards the blocks, placing the balls 1 or a set, up to you, somewhere inside of my left knee. And if that feels good already, stay there, straightening and bending. Releasing close to the knee is important. Again, everything close to the knee tends to get tight. It tends to pull on the knee. That's what makes knees get overinflamed or start to develop some overuse. And then same as the foam roller, you can just roll towards your pelvis. Ooh, I personally feel it more with the myofascial release balls. If you can't get to your inner thigh, start from the middle and then kind of like roll on. This is where I start to add more weight and kind of like roll onto my belly. Oof. Straightening and bending. And then bringing them really close up my inner thigh. If you find a place and you want to lift your hips up, kind of like you're going into a forearm plank. And trying to snuggle them as close as you can to your groin. And taking a few breaths there. Okay. And slowly bring yourself up. Actually, let's add one more traction to our knee. So we did traction seated. Another nice one is just on our back. Let me make sure that I did everything I wanted to. Great. So we're gonna do one more traction and then some shin release, and we're done for today. One ball behind each knee. Remember, we did this before kneeling down, so now we're just reversing our bodies. And you can just do this and let gravity do the work. Let's be here for at least a minute. You can open and close. At some point, if you want to add a little bit more weight, gentle, knees are fragile. Just start to bring some weight down towards your shins. Maybe some of you can come down towards your ankles. Three-part breathing, if that felt like it was bringing good awareness, tactile information to your body. And a shake always feels good, so when you're ready, maybe just shake out your legs. We worked out our shins, so we're just gonna do one release for our shins. Again, foam roller or yoga tune-up balls. This one does require a little bit of core strength and some flexibility in knees, so I'll show it with a foam roller first. You're just placing the foam roller below your kneecaps and you're doing a little bit of this. Obviously, my knees are in full flexion, so if there's any reason why you can't do full flexion, I would just skip this one. I'm gonna show it fast just so that you can decide how long you want to stay in it, or if you don't have a foam roller, how to do it with the tune-up balls. So same thing, tune-up balls together. I have 2 sets, so I'm just gonna use 2 sets to roll out both of my shins, but you can do one shin at a time. Very similar. Place them there. One. Yeah, I definitely feel everything way more. I'm pointing my toes because if your toes are tucked under, then it's hard to get there. Just tucking them as I go back. Oof. And here, again, this gets more into ankle stuff, but it's important to address ankle. Make sure that you go right where you think your ankle begins and put a little bit of weight there. So this is tractioning your ankle, your foot away from your shins. And if you still have a little bit of time and you want to do one more thing to wrap up, if knee flexion is comfortable for you, tuck your toes under, remove the balls, and we're just going to stretch out the soles of our feet. You can try to tuck your toes even more. And we'll be here for 1 minute again. If it's too difficult to sit straight, immediately start here and then slowly add your weight up. We'll take 3 more breaths here. Inhale. You do want to stay in it until you feel some sensation. So I can definitely start to feel Another breath. And when you've had enough of that, shift your weight forward, slowly untuck the toes, tap your feet down. If you like today's class, please comment. Let me know what you liked or something that was challenging. Comment or write to me directly about any other suggestions. And then my biggest favor, if you took the class all the way till the end, please subscribe. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.